Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Doctor is a Healer. Doctor is a Healer is a podcast created to explore a new paradigm of medicine, where science meets consciousness and healing goes beyond symptoms. I'm here today with Signe Dauskane Platace, a healer, mentor, and transformation coach. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the future of medicine, where science meets soul. So let's jump right in. Hello, Signe.
Hi.
Hi, Signe. Lovely to meet you. So, what made you move from being a doctor to becoming a healer?
It didn't happen overnight. It took around 20 years because I graduated from medical school in 2000 and became a healer in 2019. So, what was in between? I was creating medical clinics. I was trying to understand who I am and why I'm not happy of even a thought that I would be a doctor. And this was so much contradicting my inner feeling, which made me become a doctor, because it started in 80s and then in 90s, and medicine changed. All the world has changed. And I was still asking myself, why, Signe, you don't want to be a doctor? And I realized that, first of all, I don't like the role of doctor nowadays. I really don't, because they are not allowed sometimes even to follow their instincts, to follow their gut feeling, to see patient as a whole. My colleagues are forced to follow guidelines, to only believe in evidence-based medicine, and each of them are literally separated in segments. Let's say gynecologists work only with gynecology issues, and ophthalmologists only with the eyes. And so they are not kind of allowed to see patient as they are, as human beings, actually. And second thing why I didn't want to stay in medicine is that so many patients, when they seek for help, they feel like victims, and they don't see their own role and responsibility as a patient about their own health. They want to come to a doctor and they want to put that burden onto the doctor's shoulders. Like, I came to you or I pay you, solve my problems. Give me a magic pill and I will be healthy tomorrow at the breakfast time. And this is not how it works. A doctor cannot be responsible for your health. Nowadays, when I know and I understand so much of how this world is created and how our conscious and subconscious mind is created, and I understand all the soul's aspects, nowadays I know that only around 20% of people on a soul level has pathway to be mindful, to be awakened, I would say, and the rest, they are literally like roaming around in their lives, but they have no clue who they are, where are they going, why, and all those questions just simply does not exist for them. That's why, of course, they are victims and they enjoy being victims. I'm sorry to say this out loud. And I think many doctors who are listening will be like, yes, yes, finally someone said it, you know? Yes, doctors, I know that you are tired of those people who come to your office, medical office, and who don't want to take any slightest responsibility about their lifestyle, about their habits, about starting physical activities or changing their food habits, changing their eating habits, and all the rest, you know. They are stressed, they are unhappy, but they think that doctor with a magic pill will solve it. So how can you be happy doing such work with 80% of society who don't want to be mindful and who don't want to take responsibility? You cannot feel like you are doing the best. And that's why sooner or later, I found out that when I'm a healer and when I work with mindful people who are seeking my help only when they are ready or almost ready, there is a way better chances that I can help them. And what means I can help them? They are ready for a change. They are ready to take their own responsibility. They are ready to seek for transformation. They are ready for not easy solutions sometimes, because every change at first is not comfortable, right? And those people who come to me now, they are totally different. So, so those people who come to me right now and in the past 6-7 years, they are very, very different from the average person who are attending doctor's offices.
Do you think belief can affect how the body heals?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because 20 years ago, when I was starting working with the doctors, reading lectures about doctor-patient interaction and communication, it was one of the most common questions doctors asked me. My colleagues asked me during those lectures, like, so Signe, how can you explain that in a patient room, there are, let's say, 3 beds, 3 different patients, almost the same diagnosis, almost the same everything, age and all the criteria are almost the same. But one of the patients, let's say, get back to their full health in 10 days. The second patient dies in 3 days. And the third patient takes around 6 months to get back to their good health and normal life. How can you explain it? And so back then, I really had no deep answer to this question, but now I really see that there is no coincidence. We all get in what we believe. And if someone believes that they are so sick and there is no chance to get back, then they will not gonna get back. And those who are maybe very, very seriously ill, but they believe that by changing something, by thinking differently, by believing in their recovery, they really recover. And doctor can sometimes invest in that patient tremendous amount of knowledge, time, methods, and help in general, but there will be no any success. And with some other patient, they maybe do not invest so much time and methods and surgeries and examinations, but just a small portion and just a little bit of talking, just a little bit of listening to their patient, and there is totally different outcome. Because first of all, this patient believes in doctor, and second, this doctor was able to change patient's perspective and understanding of what's going on. And doctor helps their patient to change focus from being victim, from being under medical supervision, and that people in white coats will do the magic. They help them change that, yes, we will do our magic, but you as a patient also have to do your magic. You have to help yourself by thinking in a way that, yes, I'm ready to recover. Yes, I want to be healthy. Yes, I'm ready for a change in my lifestyle. And I want to keep living. I want to be healthy again. And this is all about belief and what's going on in a patient's head and subconscious mind.
What do you think medicine will look like in 10 to 20 years?
I don't know for sure, but one thing, what I've noticed in the past several years, especially after COVID, that medical system as it is right now is falling apart because patients don't believe so much in medicine and in doctors anymore, because what we have experienced during COVID show, I would say, um, many of many patients can't take it serious anymore because they saw that doctors and system is lying to them, right? And also my colleagues are whispering to me that they don't believe in system either, and something is very, very wrong with the medical system in America and also in Europe, in every country, that there should be a major change in how medicine is treating their doctors and how medical system is treating patients through doctors. And I really, really hope that sooner or later doctors will be allowed to see their patients as a whole, to see that their patients are not just physical bodies, but there is an energy body, there is a emotional part to it, and that we are so complex beings. And you cannot see in your patient just broken leg or bleeding abdomen. This is way more. You should focus more on why did this happen? What was wrong with the patient on a mind level, on a subconscious level? Why this patient got into this problem? Because every problem with health which happens to any of us is actually a sign that you need to change something in your life. Our bodies don't have problems just as a coincidence and just because of. No, this is always a serious sign. And there is no just one thing what's behind it. For each of us, it's something very, very personal and very different. But if you are careful and if you want to go deeper, then sooner or later you can easily discover what your life and your body is telling you. You just have to be careful, listen, and don't start arguing. Because the first reaction is, no, that's not true. That's not about me. I'm not that, blah, blah, blah. But breathe in, breathe out, and just listen and accept what's coming, because your body is never lying. And that's the point. Your mind is lying to you constantly, every day. It's telling you what you want to hear, right? But your body is not lying. And sometimes this truth is so naked and so uncomfortable that you better tell your body, shut up. I know better. And so body has no any other way than getting seriously sick.
What do you hope will change most in medicine?
I hope relationships in between doctors and patients will change. Relationships in between doctors and medical systems in general will change, so that systems will not look at doctors as little screws in a big mechanism. That system will see that each doctor is an amazing person, smart, with a huge knowledge about everything, what can happen with their patients. Their doctors are or should be trusted. Their decisions should be trusted more. And so they don't have to blindly follow guidelines or evidence based something. And that's why they were studying for at least a decade to become a doctor, so that they are not screws in a system. And as I said, because of that, doctors will gain back their real power, their knowledge, and they will stop being secretaries like they are now for big pharma, for system, filling out different paperwork, so that they will become healers for their patients, and they will gain back their healing abilities, their deep understanding of how the world is created and how their patients are created. And I think everyone will majorly win if this were going to happen. Of course, pharmaceutical industry will lose for sure. That's why I believe that the magic will happen sooner or later, and big pharma industry either crash, either change, either disappear. I don't have an answer to this. And how the things are going for the past 100 years, it's unacceptable anymore.
If medical schools were rebuilt from scratch today, what do you think they should teach differently to prepare doctors for real-world healing?
I hope one day in a medical school there will be a program where doctors are fully focused on their intuition, where doctors are taught how to follow their gut feeling, where doctors are going into regressology sessions, each of them separately and in a groups, so that they can connect with their previous lives as healers. And of course, they keep studying medicine as it is. And of course, they should know everything about physiology and anatomy and biology of how we are created. But it gets back to focus on doctor as a healer, on doctor as a personality, so that doctors can become doctors with a capital D. And second aspect, that in a medical school, psychology would be taught way deeper than it is right now. Where knowledgeable professors would explain their students that psychology sometimes is almost everything. What's behind the sick people, what's behind the illnesses, and you have to treat at first your patient's mind, you have to treat your patient's energy, you have to create a field of healing in your medical office so that doctor can be this almost like a magical person who can hold their patients energetically, and each patient after visiting doctor feels uplifted, feels like their own strength is coming back, like their own power is coming back. And after each visit and each conversation with the doctor, they feel like, oh my gosh, I finally understand who I am, how I have to treat myself, how I should live, what in my life is disturbing me, and what should I do with this. So that this visit is not so much about pills, prescriptions, examinations, next visit to every other type of doctor, but it's more about meaningful and deep conversations, and that doctor sees their patient really as a whole. And I really hope one day this will happen in our medicine. And I hope it will happen soon. I hope that my colleagues, doctors, will become conscious and mindful and awaken very, very soon. I hope you will find strength in yourself to sometimes say no to the system and say yes to yourself and to your patient. And I wish all the best to patients who are listening to my podcast. And I wish you to find those doctors who are ready to see you, who are ready to understand what's really going on with you, and not just with your leg or head or your health issue in particular area of your body. I really, really wish that more conscious doctors, more conscious patients are in this world, and so that you meet each other. Thank you.